So I've been asked many of times, how did I develop my sense of fashion? I think sense or sort of yeah, your sense of fashion is an extension of your sense of self. To what extent have you discovered who you are? To what extent have you taken risks in your life? To what extent have you, wanted to deviate away from the main track in favor of yourself? So what methods have I used to develop my sense of fashion? One of the biggest ones I've always used is sketching, right? Maybe you are scared of sort of wearing the clothes out, but you can sketch them, right? And I've been sketching for a really long period of time, like since I was a kid, right? When you're willing to embrace this, like, rubbing, sort of having an outfit, then you rub it out and you sort of correct it in ways. When you are dressing, that correction that you had when you were sketching becomes a reality in the way that you dress. I can tell, okay, maybe I should iron this specific clothes better in this sense, right? So that it looks, maybe I want to look clean. Okay, then how do I do that cleanness? I would have known that by the time I finished sketching. Another thing is exposure, right? I think for me, I've had that multicultural exposure. I can look at the beauty and how Somali women do their makeup and be like, I admire how they do that, and learn from that level of like detail when it comes to doing their makeup. It's a bit of taking from everything that you're exposed to in life, right? And also using the web like Pinterest to discover what it is that you like. How can I go onto Pinterest, and see something like, maybe it is, I look into the history of Kenya and maybe like the Maasai blanket. How can I use that, knowing that I am Kenyan, to then discover my sense of self, right? To then discover how I see fashion, to then discover if I was to rip that Maasai, whatever material up and put it on myself, how would I wear it? Because you can have all the money in the world. I can take you to Gucci, I can take you to Prada, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have a good sense of fashion. A good sense of fashion is taking time. Whatever you invest in, right, then pays its dividends later. And I think it's the same with your sense of self and sense of fashion, how you do your hair, how you do whatever, right? All of that is how much do you invest in it. Because the more you invest, the more better you get at it. But at the first stage, you have to invest. You have to put your dollar in, right? So I think that is what it is about sense of fashion. Sense of fashion is taking risk, right? I can say it's because of, I'm interested in entrepreneurship. I can say it's because maybe I've been interested in the 1970s, the 1920s, and all the culture that came with that. I can say it's because I like music. I can say it's many things. But I think the biggest thing is just you have to be willing to risk, even sometimes people are not agreeing with what you wear, for you to then develop what it is that you want to wear. Because I think sense of fashion is also that willingness to stand out. It's that willingness to have, to sit there and people not necessarily agree with what you wear. It's about risk.